Welcome to another episode of FreeMind Local, where we spotlight inspiring local businesses and the stories behind them. I remind everybody there are no scripts, there are no agendas. This is two strangers connecting in real time for the first time on camera. Today, we're joined by Christian Greco, owner of Market Street Grill in Westchester, Pennsylvania. He's here and he's going to talk to us about his passion for food and the community and how that's made Market Street Grill a local favorite in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Get ready for an episode filled with flavor, excitement, and, of course, that Westchester, Pennsylvania charm from Christian Greco. Enjoy.
My name is Christian Greco. The business is called the Market Street Grill, and we opened January of 2003, so we'll be 22 years old very soon.
Awesome. And is this a family business? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So tell me the story about when it started.
We gotta sit up here.
Excellent. There you go. You're right. There you go.
We're good to go.
All right, let me redo that. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to do that for your aesthetics. I appreciate that.
Oh, no, I was just doing that.
No, you're right. You're right. Let's redo it. There you go.
Right.
No, you're good. All right, so we'll go through, and actually I might leave that in the beginning just because it's funny.
Yeah.
No, yeah, so we'll go through and tell me about kind of when things started, and what was the year again that it was founded?
2003.
All right, that's the year I graduated high school.
Nice.
All right, so actually, no, I have been in here.
For real?
That's
good.
Because I just realized it would have been that. It would have been when Tina was at school here, which would have been 2003 to 2007.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I used to come here all the time on the weekends.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I've been here.
I mean, this town's awesome. There's always some reason to be walking around Westchester, getting involved with something. Yeah, so 2003.
You're just getting closer to you. I don't bite.
My dad started the
My
place.
last episode was just two stumps in the middle of a field in Delaware. So you're good, man.
You make it happen. You make it happen. Where were you guys at the previous one, in the kitchen?
We were in the meeting room, whatever, on the side, because there's a baby that was so loud. We had to move it. But yeah, sorry, we'll go back to the beginning. 2003.
No, that's true. It's good. I like it. 2003. So I was a little guy. I'm born '91, so I was, a kid.
Yeah.
I was a kid when we got started. As I got older, I got involved more and more. I actually didn't grow up here in Westchester.
Okay.
I grew up in Oxford. So it's like 35, 40 minutes away down Route 1. My mom raised me primarily. I was up here on weekends and stuff. My parents were obviously split, so I did Oxford and here. And then as I got older, I started to work part-time in the restaurant. And in college, I was part-time. And then I graduated, and I worked a corporate job for a little while. Like right out of there, I did an internship, and then I got this corporate job. I was like, let me just try this, let me do it. And boy, I was just not built for that. Everyone's different, people have strengths and weaknesses, but that setup that I was in a cubicle, just at the computer doing those types of assignments all day, that was just not for me. Like I said, everybody's different, not for me. So I lasted a little while doing that, and then I came here full time. And when I was here at first, this was like 10 years ago, I was like, I'll do this for a little while until I figure it out, a little placeholder. My dad started the business, but it was just like there, and it was an option, but I wasn't sure that that's what I wanted to do. In fact, I didn't think that I wanted to do this. So I was doing this. I was a terrible employee when I first started. I was still young and showing up all banged up here in the morning. Horrible. So I went through my ebbs and flows.
Worked out of the system.
Yeah, I got fired by my dad for a little bit.
Really?
He got
That's good.
No, it is good.
I've worked with a lot of family businesses. That's good. Because a lot of times they don't.
Right. And it's definitely good. I needed it.
Right.
I was just saying to you, I came in banged up. I was just partying a lot. And,
We all did, man.
Right. So my dad had to set me straight one time, and my penance was that I, worked in the front of the house, and then my penance for when I was misbehaving, I worked in the kitchen.
Oh, nice.
So I was a line cook for us for like 6 months.
It's good. You can see the back end.
No, you're right. You said it's good. It's like, I'm telling you, it changed my perspective. Like, I became more grateful for the position that I was already in, and also grateful for those dudes and women who are busting their butt back there. And so, man, like you said, I'm super duper grateful for it. I grew so much.
Yeah.
And then, time went on. I started taking things more seriously, and then a year and a half ago, my dad made me his business partner. So I officially own part of this business. We also have another restaurant in Downingtown.
Okay.
Called the Green Street Grill. This one's Market Street. We've been here for 22 years, and then 11 years ago, we opened up a second location in Downingtown called the Green Street Grill,
Okay.
which is the same concept, same hours, menu, food, everything, even some of the same employees. It's just in D-Town. So my dad's out there holding it down.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
I'm here.
You guys get your space and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, like, we do get our space. So I even offer, like, yeah, I'll come out and help sometimes. He's like, no. And then I'm good. He doesn't want me to go out there on his turf. Like, it's all good. I don't take it too personal.
That's cool.
But I've really made this arena,
Yeah.
like this down, like just like my space. Like, I freaking love it here. I live, as I was texting you, I live upstairs,
Yeah,
right above the
nice.
restaurant, so I'm in it. Yeah, it's great.
I see your stuff out. I see your stuff out. I see you doing work with other businesses as well. With when it comes to social media, like talk a little bit about that. Kind of, is that like a formal thing, or is it just you out there, kind of drumming up the beat?
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, I love this town so much, and I'm not from here, but I adopted this town, and the whole thing of mine was just people show us love. Like, I love this small town, small business flavor of the whole, everything that we're doing here. It's really the theme of the town, right? Like, they don't want the town to get built up too high. They like small businesses, not chains and stuff. And I really like bought into that. So good relations with as many of the business owners in town as I possibly can be. If I can work with them, I love it.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. It's a big collaborative thing, because I feel like, I don't know, there's just some camaraderie when you, like I said, small business people, we're just...
You make a bigger impact, I feel like, when you're combining skills. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I just feel like it always is wider.
Yeah.
If you're whether it's money or just engagement, it's always bigger.
Yeah, we're the little guy. We got to team up.
Right.
And do good stuff. So I really enjoy it, and I enjoy being a personality in town.
Right.
If I can help and create some content or something, I enjoy it. I really feel like I'm just blessed with that ability to do it. So let's.
So in a town like this, like your personality probably does wonders in a place like this, because it's not like a regular place where it's like, okay, let's say it's an Italian restaurant, you're gonna get a certain clientele and a white tablecloth and a certain clientele.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the diners and all this stuff, because diners are and this is not a dig on any other type of on-premise food and beverage, but a diner is one of the most inclusive places that anybody could ever walk into when it comes to consumption of food and beverage, consumption of an on-premise place.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about some of the relationships, and I'm going to use the word characters, because we're going to, like, I'm sure that you have characters, just like in my life in bar business, I could name you a million characters and create a graphic novel. So talk a little bit about what that's like.
I don't know, that's kind of crazy. I call them characters too. Dude, I always say, like, we could really start like a sitcom, like a show. These people, like, where did they come from? These people are out there, but I love them.
Yeah.
Like, I always refer to these like.
And I'm one of them. I live in diners, so it's like,
I feel you. I don't trust you if you're like so normal. Like, I like my quirky characters. I'm telling you, all the staff, they know all the people that are like my flock.
Yeah.
And so, I was telling you a little bit before we started, like, I feel so grateful for all the different types of characters.
Yeah.
Like, man, it helps me so much as a person, like, the understanding, the patience, just seeing people from different walks of life. Like, I love it. I love my characters.
And I think a lot of people don't realize, like, in lines of work, like, let's talk about comedians, for example. A lot of people look at comedy and they're like, oh, it's easy, they just stand up and tell jokes. But if you look at a real good comedian is telling smart jokes about current things that are happening in the present life. They have to get that by being present and perceptive all day long, and they're on the road. I see that a lot in what it would be like on the backside of a counter in a place like this. Because you're going to have a million different people walking in with a million different things. You have the biggest pulse on what's actually going on in society, because of in an hour span, you can see what's going on in everybody's life, and then that person, there's probably 20% of the world is having that problem, 30% of the world, and then like literally on a countertop, it's like the United Nations of conflict resolution.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's you're totally right. Yeah,
you can tell I spend a lot of time in diners. Bars, diners, on-premise socialized consumption, I guess is what I would say. Yeah.
When you were talking about the other places, like, I know I could survive in a different type of restaurant, but I would not flourish the way that, like, this is chill. You know what I mean? There's no drama in the brunch morning.
So, like, this morning, like, you'd have, like, a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to paint the picture and tell me if I'm off. You got your morning regulars, so they're approaching. You got the 50, 60, 70-year-old, 80, 90 crowd. They're bellied up, or they're over the side. Then, because of the town room, we got 20,000 college kids that are 2 blocks away, pouring in, whether they're throwing up around the corner before they come in or what. Hopefully they're not doing it after they leave and they come in. Or they're not doing it when they're here, I mean, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Not kidding. You're not kidding.
But is that like, and everything else in between, the families, the kids, the babies, so like a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning is kind of like, what? It's just like...
Yeah, you just said, brought up my whole age range of people. You said 90s, this, and I almost stopped, just hundreds.
We got hundreds.
One guy who comes in every Saturday, he rotates between us and our other restaurant. He's 100 years old.
So what are you?
He's 100 years old, World War II veteran. Always rocking his hat. I mean, that blows my mind.
Wait, how he comes in every Saturday?
Yeah.
I might have to swing by one of these Saturdays and see if he wants to go and talk on camera.
He's really spry. He just had a big birthday party over at Barnaby's.
Next time you see him, you should ask him if he would be down. I'd come down and we do an interview here on the corner over a cup of coffee and talk it over.
Yeah, he's the best. Meeting
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, heck,
that would be really cool.
No, I cherish my interactions.
Yeah, I'm serious. I mean, that would be really cool.
That's insane. You fought in World War II.
Exactly.
That's insane.
I would love to talk.
What the heck? That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a beast. And as we were saying, get to meet with so many different people who present me with opportunities, right? Like, I'm just trying to bloom where I'm planted, right? I heard this saying recently, stuck with me. The guy said to me, he said, I don't think the grass is greener on the other side. I think it's greener where you water it. And so, as I was mentioning to you, when I first started here, I was like, thought this was a placeholder job. Let me get out of here. And now, as I've grown, I've met a zillion people, right? So this is my baby. This is my job. But I meet people who present me with opportunities for other things. And I say the bloom where you're planting, grass is greener thing because, the message to me was that you just stay consistent and do what you're supposed to do for as long as you can and to the best of your ability, other good things will happen, right? And so that's sort of been popping up, and man, I'm really grateful for that because I do this, but I'm also into acting.
Okay.
So I do some acting stuff, and then you mentioned doing other small business stuff, like any way that I can be like a presence and whatever. I did one other podcast before. And then I did, over the past summer, I did a bunch of, like, camera stuff, as I said. Like,
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some stuff of you walking down the street, introducing to different businesses and everything like that.
Yeah, it's sick. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like, you mentioned it, there's all different types of ages, but, there's a singular mission. I have a crew, and everyone just tries to build up the town, build up their businesses and stuff, so it's a beautiful thing.
And that's the thing that, like, I think a lot of people don't realize is, like, you have to have all the different things. Like, you have to have this crowd, you have to have the white tablecloth crowd, you have to have the bar crowd, you have to have the brewery crowd, the distillery crowd. All of them need to exist. And then the fact that what happens, and I feel like, and this is from my experience of traveling around the country to all these different communities like this, it's not often that there's somebody like yourself that's trying to connect those things. And that's the thing where once those things can be connected in those places, instead of them operating as individual, let's say in their individual silos of competition, if people can find a way to like do 50% competitively, and it's business, we're all competitive, but then the other 50%, proportional however in your mind, but theoretically, focused on building the community as a whole. Because I think what a lot of people don't realize is if you don't have a strong community, but you have a strong business, people, if everybody drives to Westchester just to come to Market Street Grill every Saturday, let's say they drive from Downingtown, they drive from Philly just to come here for breakfast and brunch because it's the best brunch around, but they only come once a week and they have no other reason to come to this town, over time, their trips will wane
because there's nothing to re-engage that sentimental feeling. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that you need to have, between this business and this, multiple touch points to keep that resonation of that loyalty to the town. And it's really encouraging to see people like yourself, because a lot of times I come into these towns and they don't talk to each other. Like, I'll literally be like, hey, I was shooting an episode of Block Away over at Jim's. Oh, I've never been there. It's like, and that part really, like, I see that because I'm coming to towns and I've not been everywhere.
Yeah.
But if I'm like in a town and I'm living in a town and running a business, which I have in multiple towns, and I don't know or haven't engaged because he's a competitor a block away, that is such a lost opportunity for both of us.
Yeah. I don't get that.
I can tell that, and I can tell the way you talk about it, but also at the same time, it still exists.
Yeah.
And I get it when I'm doing different things. I can feel that and everything,
Yeah, just to what you're exactly saying, I'm going to shout out one of my boys. His name's Chris Lucas. He owns the Penn's Table restaurant not too far. We are close friends. His son Justin, his other boys, like, we are tight. Direct competition. I don't care. I just love those people. And whatever, we help each other. To what you just said, man, you just hit it on the head. That is well said. And also thank you for your kind words.
You're welcome.
But I didn't even think about this until you put it into words. But yeah, when you build the town up, everybody wins. Like consistently, it would just bring more business. So yeah, I don't get caught up in all that.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do a collaboration with another brunch restaurant. It's called Roots, not too far from here. So we're gonna get together and do that. Yeah, I think it's something that's different about this place versus other places, and yeah, it's just not how I'm wired at all. You know, I guess I just got to give props to my dad for that. He's just very generous to everybody, and you know, it didn't matter what the context was, just generous. And there's a place called Classic Diner in town for a while. We used to be real good friends with those people as well. That's a group that owns some restaurants. So I don't know. I'm also, you know, I'm pretty big in my faith, and that is something in my faith that calls me to do, just not be hateful or weird towards anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's something. I'm glad you brought it up because it's something I love it.
Now let's kind of we'll close out with like two more things. Is one is just a random thing. Is kind of what is do you have a dish here that is like the go-to that people just like clamor for?
So,
or is like
more so than a dish, I would call it an item or a component of dishes. So, our chef, her name is Darla Ricchetti. She's been with us for years and years. She is a magician. She is amazing. It's really art what she can do, put this stuff together. I would consider her homemade special sauce, this andouille sausage gravy. That is our staple. If you see, I have it on the back of my hoodie. It says it's all gravy, baby. Hope they can see. That's our thing. So we have a few items which incorporate the gravy. So when people come for the first time and they're like actual foodies, you know, and they're not like scared, you gotta try the gravy. If you're here, you gotta try the gravy.
Nice.
So you go somewhere else, what's our thing? The gravy. so it's the Bruno, the Telly, C-Mac things, and they're all like named after people. I was like, cool. These are people's names, but those dishes all incorporate the gravy, and I'm proud of it. You know what I mean? I'll be like, it's some of the best gravy around.
That's awesome.
You know, I got my own stuff. I got a chicken and waffles dish that's, you know, named after me on the menu. So anything that's like with the gravy, I think. So. But you can't go wrong because some of the other stuff she comes up with, like the sweet stuff, it's just out there. It's different. It's different than like your mom and pop, just a diner, like traditional diner, so to speak.
So out in this area, we're in the Philadelphia area. So how do you cook the scrapple here? You going crispy? You going?
I literally this morning had a scrapple sandwich on a bagel. That was my breakfast.
That's what I'm not. I'm crispy. I'm gonna put it on.
Like it crispy.
Burn the outsides, leave it in the middle.
Yeah, the mush. I can do it.
Less mush the better.
Yeah, I can do like because you know I used to have it where it was just pure mush on the bagel sandwich, and you know it was good, but the crunch I like a little better. I was just talking to a girl today talking about scrapple, and you know she's like, I finally built up the courage to eat scrapple, and you told me I shouldn't do it. Because I tell people, like, if you didn't grow up eating scrapple, you're probably not going to like it.
And if you get a smushy one,
it's all gray. It's like it doesn't.
That's the other
look
part.
good.
Crisp it so it's not gray.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah. So I love it. I understand that it's out there.
Yeah.
So I don't take it personal. People are like, what is that? Like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you? What are you eating right now?
Yeah.
You know, I love it because I grew up as a kid eating it, but like, yeah.
So it was funny, when I lived here, I grew up eating it and I still love it and everything like that. Obviously it's not a daily part of my life, but it is a part of my life. It's but the funny one was I always thought that was like the most adventurous thing. And then I went to York, where down there it's hog maw.
I've never heard of that in my entire life.
If you're
Hog maw?
if you're triggered by uncomfortable things, hit the mute button for 30 seconds. Hog maw, it's either hog maw or haggis, one of the two.
I was about to guess haggis.
It's like haggis.
That is so funny.
So it's like haggis, but just more disgusting. So it's the intestines, and then it's all this stuff. And for me, it wasn't for me. Like, it's not for me, but it was like scrapple was like the most extreme I can go.
So that's disgusting. Okay. Scrapple is for the finer tasting people. Okay.
Remember we were talking about white tablecloth? That's scrapple.
That's scrapple, basically.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the last thing I'm going to do is I have a new thing this morning I'm starting. So you're the third episode today that's doing it. So bear with me, and it's not live. I'll cut it up. It's in closing 3 songs that you would want played at your funeral.
In the Club by 50 Cent. I'm just thinking like my favorite songs ever. Kids by MGMT.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe like some Linkin Park.
There you go.
No, I think the third song, if I had to pick those two, I think that so those two were out there. They were out there, right? Those are songs that I like. The third one would have to be some like Frank Sinatra, I Did It My Way.
There you go.
That's the classic Guido Italian, funeral song.
So you kick it off with 50, and then you close it with Frankie. There you go.
Some say they're like similar. They've been compared to one another many times. So I'm telling you, I've heard that like I did it my way. I've heard that so many times. Like, yeah,
I'm sure. Well, hey man, I appreciate it, dude.
Hey,
You take
great
your time, man. It is an honor to meet you. I am excited to come in here and start coming in here more often and stuff like that. And definitely reach out or talk when you see that 100 something.
Yeah,
I would love to do an episode.
Me,
with them
you,
too,
and him are gonna be sitting at that table eating Scrapple.
You got me sold, man. Give me a bottle of maple syrup, and I'm in.
Awesome,
Dude, that.